In this video, I'm going to share with you how I stopped my panic attack. Now, I would never have thought in a million years I'd be making a video about how I stopped my panic attack. I thought it would never happen to me. Like, I thought, me get a panic attack? You must be crazy. Nah, not me, not Aaron Darko, no way. As I said before you now, I've had 2 panic attacks in the last 2 years. And I've processed the fact that I'm embarrassed to tell you that. I've already processed that shit. Because the first one was 2 years ago, when COVID started, actually. It's like, was it April 2020? And at the time, all of these people were, they were making way more money than me doing my business, right? And it was a time where everyone was at home and all the fitness coaches were making loads of money. And I was like, fuck, I should be making more than I am. And I was just getting all in my head and like, oh, I should be further along, you know, all this stuff. And I woke up next morning and my heart was racing. Like, it felt like I was dying. It felt like I was having a heart attack. At the moment, I thought I had food poisoning because I had a burger at this place. And I thought, oh shit, it's food poisoning. I texted my friend and I went to the gym. And then he was like, oh yeah, just take some salt water and flush it out. And I was like, okay, went to the sauna, took a bag of salt. And I did 4 rounds, putting lots of salt in my water and drinking it and going in the sauna. That didn't help. And then after that, I spoke to my other friend and she was like, oh, you have a panic attack. You're having a panic attack. And I was like, wow, what the fuck is that? And I was like, no way. She's like, yeah, you are. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So we went to dinner and she was just telling me, yeah, I've seen these symptoms before. It's like, fuck. And I spoke to my other friend and he was like, you need to accept the feelings. And I said, what do you mean accept the feelings? And he's like, you need to accept whatever you're trying to escape from. So at the time, I was like, I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to feel this way. I want to just get rid of it, right? I don't want to feel like this. I want to just stop this feeling. I don't want to feel like this. And he said, resisting the feeling is going to keep the panic attack happening. Like, the way to stop the panic attack is to be with the feeling that you're feeling right now. What are you trying to escape from? Like, fuck, I'm wasting my time. I'm not doing any work because I've got this fucking feeling that I just need to get rid of so I can do work. Okay, but what happens if you don't do work? Well, I'm wasting time. Okay, so what's bad about wasting time? Well, if I waste time, then I'm not going to fulfill my potential and I'm just wasting my time here on earth. What's the point of me being here if I'm just wasting time? And so I was resisting accepting that, oh, I can be wasting time. Just accept that I'm wasting time. Just accept it. Not judge it as something that is bad. Just accept it. And it was only when I started accepting, like, yeah, you know what? Like, if I waste time, then that means I'm a failure. Just accept that. I could be a failure. Just accept it. Not saying that I am, but accepting that, right? And just being with him. Just like, you know what? I'm just going to be with this feeling. It feels fucking shit, but I'm just going to be with it right now. And that was the advice he gave me. And actually, that helped a lot. And I just started accepting that, yeah, this is shit, but I'm just not going to judge it anymore. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just what it is. And then all of a sudden, the panic attack went away. Not like immediately, but within a few hours, my heart rate normalized and I was able to breathe deeper and I started feeling better. And that was the first one. So the second one, that was only recently, actually. That was about 3 months ago. And what happened was, I'm an empath, right? I've learned this from a tarot card reading. The lady said I'm an empath, right? Which basically means I'm very empathetic towards others. Like, I can always put myself in your shoes and see the world how you see it from your perspective in any situation. Which is why I don't really have much conflict in my life. Like, if there's conflict, I can resolve it just by being empathetic, right? And it's just a skill set that I have. And it helps me in business too, because I'm able to, you know, empathize with people and see where they're coming from, what they're experiencing, and then help them get past whatever their roadblock is. And so basically, I was talking to, I won't go into the details because it's quite private, but basically one of my ex-girlfriends, my longest girlfriend I've ever had, I broke up with her at the time recording this 5 years ago. It wasn't a great breakup. I'm the one that broke up with her. And we were together for 7 years, and it's something I'm not proud of at all. It really shattered her world. And yeah, basically what she made that mean is that she can't give 100% of her love to someone else. And so our conversation we had about 3 months ago was basically, she told me, I didn't have any awareness of this, by the way, until she told me this recently. She told me that she was having a hard time of really loving someone else 100%, like she did with me, because she's scared that if she loves someone 100%, then that person's going to leave her and she's going to be abandoned. That's basically what it is, right? It's the fear of abandonment that's coming up for her. And so I felt so crushed by that. I was just so guilty. I felt so much shame and guilt that I have caused this. Like, if it wasn't for me, this wouldn't be happening. I wouldn't even be hearing this. She wouldn't have experienced this for the last 5 years of different partners and not being able to give her, like, fully love them and receive their love, right? 100%. And I started taking that responsibility for how she feels. Next day I woke up, like, actually when after we spoke, I started crying. I was actually crying a little bit on the call as well. And then the next day I woke up and I was just full on panic attack. I knew it. I Googled irregular heartbeat, but I fucking knew. I was like, oh fuck, it's a panic attack. Another one, fuck's sake. And I went to the gym and I was just out of it. Like, I went to the gym, went to the sauna, because normally the sauna helps me at least feel better. I spoke to my friends at jiu-jitsu and I shared with them that what happened. I just shared what I just shared with you. I shared with them. And then some of them started opening up, which was cool. Like, I started, because I was vulnerable first, they were able to be more vulnerable, and I started to connect with my teammates. And then after that, I went downstairs to the sauna, and then I was about to leave the gym, and then my friend Mike Versteel came in and we spoke, and then he was just talking a lot, and I was just like, fuck, I can't deal with this shit. I can't mentally hold space for someone when I got a fucking headache and I can't really see because like the sun was in my eyes and stuff, and I just feel like shit. And then all of a sudden my back started hurting as he was talking to me, and I was like, wow, that's weird. So I went back home and I was in my bed, and I kid you not, I had like 10 out of 10 back pain. It was so weird. It was just like this dull ache that was just getting more intense. And it was just so intense that even when I lay on my back, it was still like super intense. Like, there was no position that I could be in where this back pain would not go away. And I was in so much pain that I was thinking of taking codeine tablets. And codeine is an opium, right? It's an opioid. So it's like morphine. It just like knocks you out. And I was thinking of taking that because I was like, fuck, I just want to be knocked the fuck out right now. I can't stand this pain. It's unbearable. And then at that time is when my friend Emil came into my room, and he saw how fucked up I was, and he started leading me through this box breathing process, which is where you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, and then breathe out for 4 seconds, and then keep doing that. And it's going to down-regulate your nervous system to be in a parasympathetic nervous system. But that wasn't really that effective. I appreciate the fact that he was trying to help me. But at that time I was just like too far gone, you know, like I couldn't relax myself. And I was feeling this intense back pain, and I was out of breath. And he said, you need to go see Jim. I was like, oh fuck no. Jim's this well, everyone calls him a healer. He doesn't like that term, but he's basically a body, mind, body worker, right? So he goes and does body work and then tells you some affirmations to relieve the trauma or whatever. And that's what he does. And he's very good at his job, and he's been doing it for 40 years. Because the whole, like, the body stores trauma sort of stuff, that's his wheelhouse, right? And so Emil suggested that I go to see Jim. And I was like, fuck, no, I don't want to go see this guy. I'm going to have to drive my bike in this state. Like, I can't drive my bike in this state for 30 minutes. Like, the guy lives like 30 minutes away from my house. And I was like, fuck, no. And I kept on saying no. And I was like, oh, fuck's sake. In the back of my mind, I knew that I needed to go see this guy, because if there's anyone that can help me in this moment, it's him. And so, long story short, I get on my bike, I go to this guy's house, and then I show up and I'm like, man, I'm in a fucking bad way, man. I've just got a panic attack. And he's like, okay. And he's super calm. He's like 65-year-old Australian dude. And he's like super calm. He's just like, okay, just tell me what happened. Just tell me what happened. And it's just super calming energy, which just helped me calm down immediately. And he started touching my body, like my back, my ankles and stuff. And I was like, oh, my back hurts. And he starts touching it. He starts saying affirmations and getting me to understand stuff about my childhood and stuff like that, forgiving my father and stuff. And it's like all this crazy shit. And then I've seen him like twice before this, by the way. And then all of a sudden, halfway through the session, it was an hour session, halfway through the session, I feel like my heart like slowing down and my breathing starting to restore and my back pain is almost gone. And I'm like, holy fucking shit, this is amazing. Like, what have you done? And it's just like, anxiety is not trusting the process of life. Like, when you don't trust the process of life, you start to feel anxious. You start to feel like you're not safe. And that's what anxiety is. It's like a feeling of not being safe. It's like we don't feel safe to move forward, so we feel anxious, right? And so, yeah, he just made me feel safe. That's, as I'm saying this now, people are going to ask me, oh, what did he do? It's like, ultimately, he just made me feel safe. And that was it. I just felt safe in his presence, more so than anyone else, because I just felt like, wow, I'm in good hands. He knows what to do. And that was just a story I was telling myself, but he seemed to know what he was doing. And I left his office and my panic attack had gone and I was able to get my appetite back and eat dinner that same night. And I thank my friend Emil because he's the one that suggested to go to gym. I wasn't even thinking about going to gym. And because I had to pay for him too, right? I was like, oh, I have to pay for this shit? Like, codeine's cheaper. I was like, thinking like that, right? But you buy cheap, you buy twice, right? So doing that really helped me. And ultimately, like I told you, because you don't have access to gym, he's not in your country, right? If you're not in Bali. So what I would say to people who are suffering from panic attacks and how to stop them is to get around someone who helps you feel safe. That's going to be a big one. And start examining why you don't trust the process of life. Like for me, he said, I trust the process of life. And I was like, I don't know why I don't believe that. And he's like, and you wonder why you got a panic attack? Because you don't trust that life is going to unfold in the way it's going to unfold for you, not to you. And that was a really big concept for me. And it still is. I have affirmations that I do. Like, I trust the process of life. I am safe. My future is safe. All is well. I love me. That's a affirmation I repeat to myself every morning, and that is something that really helps me personally. But again, one of my friends, Devin, he was on the podcast. He said, you need to go to the root of why you don't trust the process of life. That's more important than just having an affirmation to mask the real problem. The real problem is, why are you not trusting the process of life? What's going on there? And then we can go into that. And then that's all the trauma and stuff. Mostly it's going to be like something that's happened in your past, which is why you don't trust right now, and the future, because something happened in your past, right? And anxiety is living in the future, right? It's worrying about the future and not being present. So again, that's another thing that Jim helped me do, is he helped me be present. This is what Emil was trying to get me to do with the box breathing, is to be present. Because when we're living in the now, not in the past, not in the future, we're able to feel our best because we're not being anxious and we're not being depressed. Depressed is in the past, anxious is in the future. But present is where everything is. Like right now, I'm being present. I'm looking at you in the camera. I'm being present. And the more I can be present, the less anxiety I'm going to feel. And so it's a daily practice for me to practice being present, because right now is all we have. It's all I have. Okay? Right now, watching this video is all you have. You don't have tomorrow. You don't have yesterday. You have right now. As I'm saying these words, right fucking now. All right. So that was how to stop a panic attack. I hope you found this helpful. Hope you can use some of these tips in your own life. And panic attacks should not be normal. Like, people normalize it, take meds for it. Like, it's a root cause problem of why are you not trusting the process of life? Like, why are you feeling unsafe? Deal with the root instead of just taking a pill. There's so many millions of people out there that just take a pill and feel better instantly and keep feeling anxiety. Like, that's like cutting the weed at the top but not taking it out at the root. You're going to have a garden of weeds all the time if you're just cutting the top of it. You need to take it out at the root. And so that's what I'm about. Like, why, if you're going to spend time on a problem, you should actually, like, at the time when I saw Jim, like, I needed that fast relief, of course. But I'm also aware that I need to go to the root of this problem and extract this problem completely. So being present is a big part of that. And trusting the process, that's another whole topic, but trusting the process of life, that everything is happening for me, not to me. All right, so hope you found this helpful. My name is Aaron Darko. Like and subscribe in this video. Like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Put the notifications on, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. Also, let me know what your experience has been with panic attacks in the comments. I'd love to hear what you've done to help solve your panic attacks. And if you've never had them come back, that'll be worth sharing, how you were able to not have panic attacks come back again, because that will help everyone. All right, so let's share the value, share the wisdom in the comments, and I'll talk to you soon. Like and subscribe. See you in the next one.